Wrestling League Season 3 Semi-Finals 2, and it's the battle between the Haryana Hammers and the UP Dangals. And of course, remember, in the last league match, Haryana Hammers have defeated UP Dangals by 4 points to 3, and this time definitely UP Dangals are willing to take the revenge from Haryana Hammers. I'm joined with senior commentator Raman Bhanot with me, sir. It's the tough semi-final. On one side, there is UP Dangals, which have Vinesh and Geeta, and they will all be dependent on the Fogart sisters. And on the other side, there is an icon player, Helen Morales, who will be eager to win this bout just because she's now coming back after the injury.
Well, absolutely. I think this is as good as it gets when you get to a semi-final of the PWL. Two top teams in terms of just the sheer form that they've shown, not according to the standings, they were number 2 and 3 in the points table. But in terms of sheer form, UP Dangal have been the team to beat. Haryana Hammers, two-time finalists, once again looking to make the third final in succession. So I think it promises to be exciting fair.
But obviously, UP Dangals, 4 matches, they have won 4 matches in a row, and then ultimately in a last league match, they have to face a defeat against Haryana Hammers. Definitely, this time they will have a strategy against the Haryana Hammers just because they know now what kind of players they have.
Well, I think, yes, it's one thing to have a strategy. It's another thing to put it into effect on the mat. And if you look at the lineup, the way the teams face off, I think last time around when these two teams were up against each other, it was the much anticipated bout between Vinesh Fogart and Sunyanan, the rematch of the Rio Olympics quarterfinal where Vinesh had suffered an injury and had bowed out, and Sunyanan went on to get a bronze. So that is going to be a rematch again tonight. Vinesh lost to Sunyanan in what turned out to be a one-sided contest. All, including me, are now waiting to see how Vinesh Fogart bounces back for this contest. The return of Helen Maroulis, I think the women's 57 kg category, for me, is the most exciting weight category in PWL 3 because you've got great competitors that have featured in this weight category. You look at the likes of Udanayo, they've featured in this weight category. You've had the likes of Pooja Dhanda who featured in this weight category. You've had, of course, the two grapplers that I'm talking about, Helen Maroulis and Vanessa Kaladinskaya. They're in the same weight category. So this is the most exciting and probably the most keenly contested weight category. And today, with Maroulis coming back, it'll be a test of her fitness and, of course, the resolve of Vanessa Kaladinskaya.
Also, Raman, if we talk about the squad of both the teams, remember in the league matches, there were a toss which happens and then there was an opportunity to block. But now all the 9 players will come into the fray. Now the auction will come into the fray. The strategy behind those 9 players, what you'll see upon if we talk about the squad of both the teams.
Well, I've got the squad right here in front of me in terms of the matchups. Kinshik Gashvili up against Nitin Rathi in the men's 57. I fancy Vladimir to be a much better grappler. The Rio Olympic gold medalist should prevail in that particular contest. The women's 76, Zanet Nemeth versus Pooja Sehag. You fancy that Zanet might rule the roost in that contest. Ketik versus Bekzod. Now this was a contest in the last league match as well, which was very interesting. Bekzod lost to Ketik. And how would he bounce back tonight? I think will be another interesting bout to watch out for. That's the men's 74. But I fancy Ketik might just prevail in this one. Helen Maroulis and Vanessa Kaladinskaya. I talked about this bout, the women's 57. It could be even Stevens, but remember, you've got the world champion up against, Vanessa, so should be interesting. Jamaluddin would prevail in the men's 125. So that would be about, that should go UP Dangal's way. Sarita Moore versus Geeta Fogart is another interesting one. You've got the pedigree of Geeta Fogart on one side, and then you've got the promise that Sarita Moore has shown and the kind of form that she is in. I think this could be an interesting contest, and both camps would back their grapplers to win this one. Rubaljeet versus Mandeep. Rubaljeet's been the more fancied of the two. Harpool versus Bajrang Punia. Bajrang, just by the sheer weight of his performances in the past, should back himself to get the better of Harpool here. And Sunyanan Vinesh, I told you, that's going to be another interesting one, the women's 50 kg.
Well, lastly, I would like to tell you, Bajrang just said before this interview that Yogeshwar, his guru, has just become a father and he wanted to gift a win to him. So what you'll say about Yogeshwar, just because 5 bouts, 3 wins and 2 losses. It's a critical bout of Bajrang Punia too.
Yes, it's a critical bout for Bajrang. I think it's about the kind of pressure of expectation that's been laid on his shoulders. Not just by his team who expect him to win, but also from an Indian perspective. I'll just rise above PWL 3 and talk about his representing India at the international level. When someone like Yogeshwar Dutt, who's a bronze medalist at the Olympics, he says that I am going to step back because I find Bajrang Punia a worthy successor to my weight category in the men's 65, and I won't compete in that category. So Bajrang gets preference. He'll be going to the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia this year, and maybe in the World Championships as well. So I think there's a pressure of expectation that's on Bajrang Punia's shoulders. Let's see if he can live up to it.
Lastly, Raman, if I'll ask you, whom you will put on your money on? Haryana Hammers or UP Dangals? You've just analysed each and every player. Now it's time that you tell our viewers that who do you think can go into the finals against the Punjab Royals?
Well, I'm not a betting man, so I'll keep my money in my pocket. I won't put it on anyone. But just from a perspective of what I think will happen tonight, I would probably say that the balance is tilted slightly in favor of the Haryana Hammers, who might clinch this semi-final as well.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Raman Bhanot, and after this match, it will be decided that who will face Punjab Royals in the finals of the Pro Wrestling League Season 3. With virtual list of now, this is Aishwarya Jain for Pro Wrestling League.